Hello, and welcome to the Wild Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Riche. That blank screen down below is Nav Man. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. That screen down below is Nav. He is representing his Las Vegas Raiders. And over that away, I never know which way the full finger thing's going to allow it to work, is DZ representing his Los Angeles Chargers. We got a great show for you. We've had some discussions backstage. We're going to get right into it and get down to the games at hand. We had some really interesting outcomes this past week, just overall throughout the league, and there are perhaps some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in like about 3 or 4 games last week. And we'll get into that as well. So Nav, I'm going to throw over to you. One, thanks for filling in for Jack, who is who's coughing up a left or right lung, or maybe both. Hopefully, he gets well soon. But either way, he is not well today, and here's hoping that he makes a quick recovery, because Christmas is just around the corner, and I'm pretty sure his family would like for him to not be coughing. So let's talk about your Raiders game.
Well, first, Jack, I hope you get to feeling better. I think you just didn't want to be on the show because he's just flat ugly, and is that's just it. So love you, no shit, brother. Hey, all the Raider fans in the Raider Nation in the chat, thank you for showing up. I appreciate y'all. The last game, not much to talk about. This is the third game this year that we've been shut out by 31 or more points. We had 75 total yards, and the only reason we had 75 total yards is because one of our offensive line fell forward on a fumble. It would have been 66 total yards in that game. That goes back to 1961. Okay. All the statistics, I'm not going to throw this all at you. Yards in a game. Total
yards
offense
in a game. Okay. In a game. Sorry, I
wasn't in a game.
Yeah. And curious on the other
75 yards.
Sorry, we're having a delay there in terms of the volley back and forth. I'm trying to time a question.
I'm sorry.
So you made 2 kind of interesting points there. I'll kind of list both just because I think we have a bit of a delay between us, just to make it easier. Okay. So one of them, your total offensive yards there, you said it's like the lowest since like 1960 something or what have you. And then the other one that I'm curious if you maybe you don't know, and that's totally cool if you don't, but I was just curious. The 3 games of 30 points or more, like as a point differential in a season, is that a record of some sort that you know of? Because that seems remarkable to me.
It's since the Super Bowl era and the NFL merger is the worst.
Dude, when you said that, Nav, all I thought about is Al Davis just rolling another time in his grave. He's just spinning in his grave right now.
I mean, it gets worse. It gets worse. The defense. Unfortunately, they're just on the field so damn much. Doesn't matter who's back there. I mean, it's the most 3 and outs in Raiders football history in a season already, and the season's not over. Okay, and when it says 3 and outs, it means drive stoppers. Whether it be a punt or lose it on a interception or a turnover of some type. So it's crazy. I mean, every stat you go by, it's like, okay, they're breaking records on how bad they suck. So the game last week, the Eagles let up on us. It should have been a 63-0 ball game. I mean, there were 2 people that were actually playing football in that game. Two. Adam Butler and Max Crosby were playing football in that game.
That comment made me crack up.
Two, Taino.
Yeah, oh my God.
He's a gold medal gymnast, jumping up and like. Taino's my boy, man. I asked him to come there. He's like, "Hey, you doing the show?" Yeah, 9:30 Eastern, and he goes, "That's a little late for me." I said, "Hey, I'm doing MHRT tonight. I'm like the backup quarterback, so you should check that out." So I sent him the link.
Fitting.
Yeah.
Oh, good one. That was a good one, Taino.
Yeah. I mean, but there's really nothing good to talk about from the game. I mean, really, and there's not going to be anything good to talk about in the following games. The only thing is going to be is what are the Texans are going to freaking stomp the snot out of this. But to what level will they do it? I think Vegas is going to be a little bit freaking upset on their betting odds and stuff because I don't think freaking the Texans are going to play everyone the whole game unless they have to. So this is the kind of the weird time of the season to pick scores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: there's really nothing Raiders to talk about from the last game. None, really. We had a couple rookies that got a few shots and actually got some play time. That's good. I like to see that finally. But other than that, man, I'll turn it over to you guys because I got nothing. I got a question for Raider Nation. Like, it's so you got the front office, right? And then you have the coaching staff. So it's like, Spycheck, that's the new front office, him and his crew. And then you have Pete, who runs his coaching staff. I know what everybody's going to say about this, but I think I was messaging what's his name, Jack, before the show. I saw a weird stat. The Raiders statistically are the healthiest team in the NFL right now. With as far as starters wise, and they have 2 wins to show for it, and you can't tell me there isn't talent on that team. There's especially a lot of talent on that defense. Well, DZ, who's one of those wins?
Oh yeah, Patriots
right, at home,
yeah,
and in New England,
right.
That's what freaks me out.
So. And like I know that I'm not trying to rub anything in. To be honest with you, I did not want to harp on the Raiders at all because, like, I know Raider Nation's going through it, rightfully so.
Please do.
And you look to the future. I mean, we kind of briefly talked about a new head coach. I just saw a freaking presser of Gino talking like he wants to win many games in Vegas, and I'm like, I'm sure that's the last thing Raider Nation wants to hear. I know that you guys kind of came in kind of like, I want to say lack pass catchers, right? Because Jack Best didn't get going. Jacoby was kind of, doing his
one foot out the door.
Exactly. Thanks. And then Ashton Genty's kind of struggling behind that offensive line a little bit. That offensive line isn't great. We all know that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they navigate this because, if I was a Raiders fan, I'd be pretty irate because you've seen what has been going on these last couple of decades. You brought in Pete and you're like, boom, we're going to change this culture. And it seems like old man set you guys back almost. And I hope that's not the case. I hope Spycheck kind of is like, all right, that's done. Let's he gets you guys rolling in the right way. And I think a young coach would be great for this team. You guys got good draft capital coming up, especially first pick, which look, you got that Mendoza kid. He looks like he might be special. And it's just, it's a weird scenario.
Well, I guess I can throw it back at both of you guys in this sense. You guys have both been in the same position where you thought you were going to get better when you got a new head coach.
Yeah.
Right. And then you got worse.
Yeah.
And then it puts you in a, what in the world is going on? And to be perfectly honest with you, with 2 wins, I'm surprised we have 2. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, with the roster we had and bringing in a Super Bowl winning head coach, the problem is he brought in all these folks that were, afterthoughts and all this other stuff with him, and it's just not working.
Right.
So and the one thing that I would have a hard time with Mark Davis would be is if you just fire Pete. You just can't do that to a dude like that.
You made a good point about why.
And the thing about it is, let him roll with it. And here's the thing with Geno. Geno has disrespected the nation himself personally. He has made a bad decision on his own, right? To throw his finger at his own fans.
Right.
Granted, it was one fan.
Did I hear this correctly that you had that guy was on your show just a few weeks ago right after that?
His name Hug D's. Yeah, he was letting freaking Geno have it at halftime as he came in.
Was he holding a sign?
It was no. He was flipping Geno off.
Oh, okay.
Going into the freaking. Let's not misconstrue it. He is the nation hero right now, though.
Okay.
But so as he's going into the half, I think the Browns game, Hug freaking flipping him off, giving him a freaking hard time as he's going through the tunnel. Next thing Hug knows, he's getting a fucking ticket. Oh, I'm sorry, an effing ticket from Allegiant Stadium as a warning at halftime. So, of course, Hug's like, oh, crap, I didn't realize I could be kicked out of here. So, end of the game, as Geno's coming through and knowing that he can't do anything or otherwise he's going to get kicked out as a season ticket holder, right? Geno decides to give him the bird, knowing that he can't do anything in return. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. And Geno will never have my respect after that. I have video evidence of all of it. I just choose not to show it to everyone. I got nothing for that guy. If he can lose his crap like that, hold on to it for an entire half, play the way he did against the Browns in the second half, and then come out there and that was the best thing he could do was flip off a Raider fan. I got nothing for you, man.
Well, that tells you his head isn't in the game. That tells you his head is, I have something to show the guy that got, me riled up going into halftime or, whatever, right? So I kind of agree with that.
Well, right. And obviously Geno went in there and I want this guy in 2C. I need him to have a warning. Pretty obvious that Geno went in there and said something at the half that this guy needs to go or something.
Yeah.
So otherwise that ticket never happens, or warning ticket or whatever it may have been. And I literally have freaking photo of that ticket that Hug got. I thought that was the funniest thing ever as a Raider fan in Oakland. You don't get a ticket. You either, if you're out of hand, you get arrested. You know what I mean? There's no ticket. There's no warning.
Gave him a ticket for
you
that?
Got a ticket. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I have seen clips of stadiums. There's like this clip that I keep seeing on Instagram. They have dudes with like the cameras in the sky and they're like watching guys throw beers and then they send security to them and stuff. So I'm sure Allegiant's no different, being one of the brand new stadiums. But I think that's pretty.
Diana says it best right there.
I actually have a box opener.
Snitches get stitches.
I have a box opener that says that.
So just to confirm, what exactly is so wrong with a dude in the stands flipping off a player that they're unhappy with his play on the field? I actually don't understand.
Especially a season ticket holder.
Well, no, but there's that. But like, what I'm getting at is like, okay, so he's unhappy. he's using, like, even if he was both flipping the bird and cursing at him, as long as he didn't, threaten him, for example,
Right. He
right?
did not.
Which I would argue is crossing a line, right? So,
Right.
fair game on that one. But like everything else is basically free speech, which is a protected right in, south. Up north, we don't have that because, well, my government's, anyways, they are what they are. And
be careful, Richie.
Oh, dude, I welcome getting that door kicked in at some point. They'll know something for sure. But anyways,
life crisis coming up soon. Kick it open, buddy. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Let's dance,
dude. Dude, like, there's so much wrong here. It's not even funny. I'm north of the border, everyone. By the way, I am Canadian. There's that A on the end isn't just like, for fun. It's owning the fact that I'm a proud Canadian for what my country used to be. So anywho, it's all protected speech at that point. And so, like, I really don't understand where the line either what was crossed or what he would have actually been warned for. I mean, I don't get it.
If Hug would have said something in the realm of bodily harm to Gino, I'm going to do this to you after the game or whatever. Now, he's not getting a warning ticket for that. He's getting removed from the stadium.
Sure, and I can understand that, right? Like,
that would happen in Oakland, and that would happen in Oakland too.
No, I track that.
I believe it.
Like, I totally track that, right? Like that is a verbal threat to a player, right?
But a fan, and actually several fans that were with him, they didn't even know each other, but he was just the guy going, dude, you need to get out of here, man. You're not any good, and he looked, and Gino looked up at him, and that was opportunity to throw him the one. And then next thing he knows, he's getting a warning ticket. Next time he does it, he's out of the stadium. And then the dude comes through the freaking tunnel at the end of the game and flips him off, knowing that Hug can't do anything in return.
He's not a season ticket holder, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
And so now just one more piece on this where I'm like beside myself. Did your buddy go? Oh, I would have lost if I was your buddy on that one. I would have gone back to the same dude that gave me the ticket, and I would have demanded to speak to the actual head of his department and demanded that the tape of Gino flipping me the bird after you had the gall to give me a warning is now on a live national broadcast. And I want an explanation as to how I got a ticket and you're allowing your player to insult a paying customer at the stadium. Let me know. And I would say you can explain that to me.
But here's what I won't do. What I won't do is tell you what Hug has done since then.
Okay.
That'll probably reveal itself at some point. But I suspect it.
Keep us informed, Raider Nation. We want to know.
It is in that kind of category you're talking about. But I kind of handcuffed on it because I promised him that I wouldn't freaking, go too far with it, because it's nothing sure until it's sure. So
Look, my only point here is he's a season ticket holder.
Yep.
He was exercising his right to free speech, which is legal in your country and a protected right.
Yep.
And he got a warning, which is a strike against him for doing something that is well within his protected rights. And so, and then on the flip side of that, they let the professional, the one who's going to actually get noticed for flipping him the bird. They let him get away with it without so much thing.
He got noticed on ESPN everywhere, but it was never even addressed to him at the presser.
Right, but that's my point, right? That's my point though. Like that's the thing, is that I want that out in the open, front and center, that like, I'm the guy that Gino flipped off. By the way, the stadium did this. I want the stadium held accountable. I want the team held accountable. I want a public apology, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Like, I want that, right? Like, I want that. And I think that's fair from a season ticket holder. I don't know how long he's been a season ticket holder, but nonetheless, he's a season ticket holder. Right. So it's really irrelevant for how long. And he is a long-term supporter of your team.
When you look at it, we have a couple of the freaking like OG freaking Oakland Raiders season ticket holders. Hell Raiders, one of them. Sacktown's one of them. They're right here in the chat. And they're telling you, they give you a fan code of conduct thing every year, but it was just a suggestion. It was recommendation. Don't do this, please. You know, but to just do that, I mean, how in the world can you support a quarterback that does that? Especially when it's being publicized that he did it, but the organization, the coach, is not addressing it at the very next presser.
Now, what do you think about
suspended a game? Why wasn't he, never was. He comes out and gives some type of, I'm a professional, I shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. There was no apology to anyone. He just...
Nav, I wonder if this was different if he flipped off like an opposing fan, like the opposing fan base.
No, that's different. Because he flipped off earlier in the year at the Seahawks. Okay. He flipped off the entire freaking stadium as he came rolling in. So his fingers are freaking apparently deadly weapons. And so the thing about it is, got his ass beat too after that.
Money Chuck kind of brings up a good point, Richie.
Yeah, well, I saw that, and that's fine and fair. But my point is, you either allow it or you don't. And right now, a professional going out, who's, by the way, also part of the private business that you're referencing, my man. And not only that, he's an employee of the private business. See, what you're doing is you're going to the patron of the business and saying, I'm going to threaten you for basically a nothing burger. Some people, I guess, may have found it offensive, but clearly the only one who got butthurt by it was Gino. Right. Whereas it didn't impact anyone really on the field. It didn't impact other patrons there. It's not like he was blocking anyone from getting in and out of the place of business or anything like that. The dude got angry, flipped off the quarterback, probably said some less than kind things, and everyone moved on with their day. Yeah,
it's in the
everyone
video.
Moved on.
You suck. Get out.
Sure, and that's what I'm saying. Said some not so nice things, and it is what it is. However, I'm pretty sure that Geno Smith signed an employment contract with the Raiders. I'm pretty sure Geno Smith also has a code of conduct that he signed that includes NFL code of conduct. And I'm pretty sure that part of that code of conduct was, I will not curse out fans. And I'm pretty sure his employment contract has a employee code of conduct that he must follow that is referenced, because I have one in the business that I'm in.
Can you bring up his next comment, Richie? Because
exactly. And if I may.
Okay, if you want to go ahead.
If I may, easy, please.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Okay, here's the thing. Money Chuck, love you no shit, brother. You know that. The difference is this. The Raiders have moved to Vegas. This never even would have been a thing in Oakland. If a quarterback, say Derek Carr, which would never happen, or hell, anybody, or AOC, or anybody would have come out there and flipped off a fan for any reason whatsoever, they would have been suspended for at least a game. It's that simple. That's the difference. Pete Carroll is protecting his guys. He's not protecting anyone else. That's the problem. I don't like compartmentalism on that. It's compartmentalism. I'll protect my guys, but I'm not going to protect JPJ or anyone else. I want to see what my guys can do. You know, that's what Pete Carroll's message has been. I mean, drafted a bunch of rookies, hardly even seeing playing time until now when it's too late. I mean, for crying out loud, that's the kind of crap that irritates me the most. All right, so what do you say? I agree that Gino should have been punished, but this
Money Chuck, I think
this doesn't apply.
What Richie was trying to say. Can I just chime in a little bit?
No, go for it.
I kind of understand what Money Chuck was trying to say there.
So, Money Chuck, I get what you're saying about a private business. You know, the NFL. Yeah. It's a registered entertainment industry. But if you weren't in here earlier, Richie is Canadian. We're American. I don't know where you're from, but you know, if you haven't really paid attention, our First Amendment rights as American citizens is kind of been under attack for a while. What you can say, and if you're getting punished or you're getting doxxed or whatever. So, you know, flipping somebody off, you can flip off a cop. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could flip off a cop and it's a nothing burger. Okay. So, so it's important to express your First Amendment rights as an American, but getting punished for a hand gesture it's pretty ridiculous. And I get what you're saying about it being in a private area, but it wasn't televised or whatnot. So it's a pretty bad look, I think, on Allegiant staff, in my opinion.
All right.
Well, I'm not going to go
this
there.
one right here. If you'll put that up there for Money Chuck real quick, and I want to address this. Hey, you come from my channel, and I love you, no kidding, man. But we don't talk politics in here. It's not. That's not what this is about. It's not politics, okay? I don't care if it's Trump, Vance. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't give a crap about that. We're talking about Raiders. We're talking about the AFC West. We're talking about the silly crap that goes on regardless of who the POTUS is. Okay, so it has nothing to do with that. We're not even going to go there. You guys agree with me?
Yeah, I'm
that's fair. So I think it's really, I just think it's interesting that let's just put it this way, that gesture and the events surrounding it became fairly public, as it, like you said, ESPN and TSN and Fox Sports and like basically 3/4 of Twitter or X, sorry, and that includes non-Raiders fans being like, "Did you see that?" And I think that's a fair game to kind of critique a quarterback doing that. I also think it was incredibly weak of a apology by Gino.
It was like the cherry on top to like what he's been doing all season, essentially.
Yeah.
And it was like, really, dude, of all the crap that's been going on with you and your team, but mostly you and your performance, and you do something like that, not to an opposing fan, but your own fan. It's your own fan base. It's like suicidal, man. It's like it's just that shit.
Hellraider says that freaking he did that stuff in West Virginia too. I'm gonna have to look that up.
He had the coolest chant in West Virginia, though. Gino did. Oh, Gino. Those
that's cool.
I'm wondering. Hey, Hellraider, send me whatever video that is on IG or something. I'm not aware of what he did at West Virginia. If it was similar, that'd be funny.
Yeah. So I do have just one other question on the Raiders game, and then we will move right along and talk about both the Broncos and the Chargers game.
Money Chuck, we'll talk about this later. Okay. Let's just make it sports here. Let's make it football. Okay.
Were there any dudes on your team, particularly the young guys, like whether or not it be like, second year or rookie players, that you or other members of Raider Nation were maybe not quite impressed with, because it's kind of hard to be impressed with anyone when you're kind of getting pushed around a little bit, but like at least where you looked at it and said, hey, do you know what? Like you did some good things.
Yeah, I'm interested too. Jackson,
like you did some good things. Like I really liked how, like, say, like I think Rogers, he's the
Caleb Rogers looks he's developing. He's
like
actually
guys
getting
you can build
better
with,
every week.
you know. Yeah.
So guys like that, like it's dudes like that I'm curious as to what your thoughts are, and then I have a follow up once you give the answer to this because I'm curious as like a secondary piece to that. So I'll let you go.
Okay, 2 pieces. I'd like to see a little bit more what Charles Grant has. I'd like to see a little bit more of him in the game. Because we don't care at this point. I mean, we're not trying to win ball games at this point. I mean, they can say what they want, but we're not trying to win ball games. So I'd like to see Charles Grant get in there and get his hands on some people and see what happens. Hell, I'd like to see Lucky Tossie get in there and you just tell him, go kill this guy. He doesn't have to have some kind of, offensive line skills on, what pass protection or nothing. I want you to go destroy this linebacker. I want you to destroy this guy and then go destroy the middle linebacker. And then I want J.J. Pegues in the backfield in an I formation with freaking Genty behind him. That's the kind of shit I want to see in these last 3 games. To be perfectly honest with you, Dante Thornton, I want to see this dude actually catch a ball with his hands instead of trying to catch everything in his chest. He's 6'5", man. He's 6'5", 215. Get up and go get it. I want to see that. And the thing is, and the next thing I want
a cheeseburger.
And I want to see, I want to see Geno finish this season. I don't want to see him like screaming injuries that don't exist. I want him finishing this season. I want him to take all the hits. You know what? AOC, in my opinion, Aiden O'Connell's not hurt. He could probably play. But my guess is AOC and his agent are saying, no, we're still hurt. We don't want to play. I don't blame him for crying out loud. What I want to see is some of these young bucks get in there. Shedrick Jackson, first freaking catch he makes in the NFL, touchdown. For crying out loud. I mean, guys like this, let's get them off the practice squad. Let's let them get some reps. Let's see what we got. That's what I want to see. Raider Nation, tell me something different. Raider Nation, tell me something different you want to see in these last 3 games. Because to be honest with you, I don't want to see any more.
Who's your last 3 opponents? Yeah, you guys, Texans?
Texans, Chiefs, Giants. Not in that order. Texans, Giants, Chiefs.
Okay.
And
I'm pissed, and I'm going to get into it because both of you Muppets get a different Chiefs team now.
Right. But luckily, the thing about it is you beat them. Didn't you beat them twice?
I'm going to get into that, Nav. Don't you spoil nothing.
Why are you worried about it? You beat them twice. I don't even care. I don't even care about that shit. But the thing about it is,
I've got a special friend with me.
I just all I want is I want some of these players to get opportunities. What is it?
I had to bring the broom out.
Nice. So, Sacktown Raider Mike said it best right there in that comment.
I think I knocked it.
Exactly, Mike.
Yeah.
No question.
I think that's what Richie was asking, and I know we've talked about it in previous shows, considering how the season's going for the Raiders, but that was also kind of a bad thing of Pete. It's like not showing some of these young guys getting going, and I think, as the season's looking like it's lost, let's see what you got in the coverage. That's a great
right.
comment.
And let's see what Cam Miller can do under pressure. With a bad offensive line, you know what I mean? Let's see what he can do. Pete said in his pressure, Colton Miller's full participant. I'm like, I don't want him to play. I don't want Colton Miller to play at all. Just let him continue to get stronger, get better. I don't want that dude in a single game the rest of this season. Put Cam Miller in there. See what he's got. Why not? Shit.
I agree. I agree. One, You already know Colton Miller is a Raiders franchise left tackle. You already know that he's capable and is very good. The last thing you want is to rush a guy back on the field, get him back in where he's kind of like, not all the way there, and have him hurt himself again and then have him knocked out for part of next season too. That's stupid. Let the guy now. Nav, I actually wonder what you think about this because this is a bit of like the bye week mentality. And I'm curious kind of where your thoughts on this one. I'd like to see Miller come in for like a snap or two. Not like the whole game, but like a snap or two. Because there's nothing quite like putting your body through like a proper football game in order to kind of like gauge where you're at sort of thing. But you don't put him in a position to hurt himself. You don't put him in a long-term position in the game where you knock him out for the season. But there is something to be said, in fairness, for the rigors of a football game and the NFL, schedule, ebbs and flows, etc., to try to get him back on track.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. If you're going to do anything more than a couple plays here and there, if you intend on starting Cam Miller, you give him first-team reps the entire week before he plays in that game. You have to. You can't play him more than a few snaps without first-team reps. If you're going to go Cam Miller and you're going to put him in a game and you want him to go play in the game, he needs first-team reps the entire week, maybe even the week before. And I firmly believe AOC is healthy. I think he just doesn't. He's like, I'm not interested. And that's going to shock a lot of Raider fans when he asks to be traded. Because he's one of the best QB2s in the freaking in the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, the dude can go if your QB1 goes down, he can go win you a football game. He's not going to lose it for you. He's not going to go win it. He's just not going to lose it for you. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's not going to, you know what I mean? He's one of those dudes. There's going to be a perennial QB2 all his career. But the thing about it is, I'm sure his agent's in his ear going, don't get killed by these people.
You're probably right, Av. You're probably right.
So the thing about it is, so let's see what Cam Miller's got. Why not?
Tano, he might be. You think he's the bridge QB next year?
Who?
He thinks AOC is the bridge QB next year.
I don't think AOC is going to be on the Raiders next year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the Raiders do. I'm almost intrigued.
None of us know. It's just my.
So my prediction. My prediction is Gino's gone because of the way that he has acted, treated the fan base, etc. I think AOC will be kept. Is he at the end of his contract? I think he's close to it, isn't he?
No, he's literally on a freaking contract at this point outside. So he's of his
on.
rookie
okay, so I think
1.7 million or something like that.
So I would bring him back on something similar, maybe like a $2 million deal kind of thing, just because he knows the team, knows the area, knows the facilities, et cetera, and bring him back to give him a fair shake with a new coaching staff if they wish to keep him. And having him on a deal like that is cheap enough, quote unquote, where you can cut him if you actually don't want him, and you're able to find someone better in like the draft or whatever the case may be. But I think that it would be a shame to see him go since he's developed a little bit with your team already, and you simply just don't know what your new coach, likely, in all likelihood, it'll be a new coach in one way, shape, or form.
Right. That's going to be the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you'd be doing your team a disservice by cutting him loose flat out, because you'd have to do too much rebuilding at the quarterback position, which you're already going to be not so much struggling with, but needing to address in a big way in the offseason.
That's what it's going to come down to. I think everything's pure speculation until we figure out the coaching. Because every coach is going to have their own way of doing things, right? So, DZ, you want to answer, James?
Yeah, We actually kind of talked about this for a second before the show kicked off. You're talking about Jesse Minter. So I don't want to see him go. I think we've got a good guy in house if Minter does leave, because I think when Jim brought him with him from Michigan, him and his father, his promise to him was like, I'm going to get you a head coaching gig somewhere. And there was kind of talks about him last year after one season. And then after what he's done, especially what he's doing right now with his defense, I think he probably ends up getting hired somewhere. I don't know if he goes back to college. He's still pretty young. College is a really finicky beast right now, especially with the NIL. It's a wild, wild west out there. I would hate to see him leave. I think he's a fantastic guy. He's got people playing for him, and then they play hard for his ass. And he's a great guy. He's still my one bone to pick with him is there's still a few guys, and one of them in particular, who's I think in the running for Coach of the Year, is Liam Cohen, has his number. Who was with the Bucks and then with the Jags. Yeah, he has, because he runs his zone style defense. But other than that, his guys love him. They play for him. And I'm gonna be depressed as hell if he gets picked up, but at the same time, you gotta gotta go see your guys flourish somewhere else. And
So I guess the bottom line with the Raiders thing, because I'm kind of done with the Raiders part of it, is that in the AFC West, this is the worst decline, the worst season that an AFC West team has created in 1 year so far.
Damn.
That is, I looked them all. I looked up every stat I could think of.
And that was not our projections going into this
No,
season.
it was not. No, I think when we first did all that, we thought the Broncos were going to win the West. I'm pretty sure we were right about that so far, right? I'm pretty sure all of us kind of thought it was going to be Chargers-Broncos, no matter what, right? It's just the Raiders knew. You know what I mean? The Chiefs looked like shit in the Super Bowl, so we were actually calling them to be last in the AFC West, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And they would be if the Raiders were a little bit better, to be perfectly honest with you.
Probably not wrong. I mean,
I'm never going to wish an injury on anyone. And Patrick Mahomes, that sucks that it happened that way for him. And I'll be the first one to say, as much as I hate the Chiefs, that just sucks, and I'd never wish that on him, ever.
I agree, and that's a good transition to get into this the Chargers Chiefs game.
So an ACL tear on a quarterback, regardless of what grade they call it or whatever, is what else is hurt.
He was his LCL and ACL. Yes. And he had to have that people are like, whoa, he had surgery. Like, I think
they got to.
Yeah, and it was one of the top. Yeah, it was one of the top guys. There's two top guys, and they're both in the Dallas area. And you
got to do it immediately for a skill player like that.
For Chiefs fans, the pro about this all is he's already started rehab essentially. You know what I mean? He's already had surgery, and he has no other job. I mean, obviously he's a father, but he has no other job but to rehab and get better. Now, a caveat to that, from all the doctors and all the other quarterbacks and players who have suffered the same injury, I've heard some of them say, and this goes to Richie's game as well with Micah Parsons, they're like, do not play next year. But look, he's a quarterback. It's different. But we all know Mahomes is stick. He likes to run around the pocket, run to that sideline. If he can't do that next season, it's going to be weird. This is you don't just sit a guy like Mahomes, right? But I mean, from what's his name, RG3 had the same exact thing. He was like, man, I didn't feel right for 15 months.
Yep.
After
he was never the same.
Yeah,
he was never the same again.
And he said hindsight's 20/20, but he's like, if I could go back, I would never play that following season.
Yeah.
He's like, I would take a year off to get straight, because it's like one of those things like, oh, okay, I'm ready to rock and roll, and then boom, something else happens. It's
Right.
it's unfortunate, but this happened at the end. Go ahead.
It's where we had a conversation the other night about the difference between offensive linemen having an ACL tear, regardless of the grade of ACL tear, versus a skill position player that has an ACL tear, regardless of whether you call it grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade A, B, C, whatever it may be. The key to a skill position player is not necessarily the grade of the injury. It's like what else, because the ACL protects other things. What else gets destroyed in the process of that ACL tear? That to me is more important to a skill player than it would be for an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle. Okay, so those things take a lot longer to get that same kind of
trust
back. So when I busted my left wrist, it wasn't so much the bones healing and everything. It was more the ligaments and everything having to repair themselves.
Bingo.
That got stretched, destroyed. You know what I mean? In the process of
Bingo.
It. So, and luckily it was my left hand and I'm right-handed. So, which actually also slows down the recovery process because I don't use my left hand as much as I do my right.
Right. Same.
So it's one of those where, which leg is it? Is that his push leg when he throws? Is it his cut leg? Which one is it? You know what I mean? That type of thing.
If I'm not mistaken, it was his right leg. And going into this game, I didn't know he had.
But like I'm saying, Patrick Mahomes, unlike other people, like to scramble out to his left, being right-handed, more than he does out to his right. If he goes out to his right most times, he's going to run with the football.
Well,
he goes out to his left, he throws more often.
You could be right about that. I just know he likes to go to the sidelines quite a bit, more than most quarterbacks since he's got into
damn it, I knew. I knew it was a bad idea bringing you in here.
But
that's two like top shelf comments from him.
Yeah,
that's two top shelf comments.
When that injury happened, I didn't even know, because I don't look, I play fantasy also, and we do the Wild Wild West, but I didn't even know he was dealing with a knee injury prior to this. Like, his knee was jacked up, I guess, before this injury happened. So
I don't know if he was actually dealing with his knee issue. I think it was more of a like what they call it, the high ankle sprain or whatever.
I don't know. I saw he was doing some stuff with some sort of a knee brace.
Yeah, they were doing the freaking toe bend stuff on him on the sidelines, pretty much on every drive he wasn't on. It was Pat's left knee. It was his left knee. Okay. So
just on
his left knee. His left knee is just.
Go
ahead. Go ahead. We can be done with that. I apologize.
I wanted to touch base on a couple things here, just generally speaking. And this is why injuries are so important that they're dealt with properly. So, two things. Number one, when I broke my leg, I broken it twice. The second time I broke it, just like you, Nav, my doctor when I went to said, dude, your bone will heal just fine. We have records of your bone healing great, just, a couple years ago sort of thing. And the biggest issue here is that you have torn every single ligament in the entire lower part of your leg as a result of what you just did. He goes, every single ligament has been completely ripped and torn. And he said, that's going to be your longest part of healing. To put things in perspective, what happened with my second time when I broke my leg is the bottom part of my toe, of the bottom part of my foot, hit the back part of my leg.
That's not good.
No, like that's not supposed to happen, right?
Right.
So, yeah. And no, but that's like when you said that about your hand there and stuff. That's exactly the sort of thing that my doctor told me. And then as a secondary part there, the other piece that my doctor told me when I went in again, he said the number one indicator of someone coming into my emergency room with a broken bone is that they've either A, broken it before, or broken the same bone before or in a different spot before, or two, that they have another injury that they're compensating for. And he said, because what you're doing is you're trying to do things a different way that your body's not designed for, and you end up hurting yourself because you're putting yourself in a more vulnerable position. And I think that that's a lot of what's happening in the NFL, where you got guys that are trying to compensate for injuries, or they're trying to move different ways for certain things. And I think that if you were to assess players and truly have them sit down and be honest, that a lot of dudes that end up with certain injuries or certain things or whatever, you'll find out that, I hurt my right knee, but my left knee was actually the one that was hurting, because the game before I got a stinger or something like that, and I wasn't able to run the same way, and I was overcompensating, and I ended up absolutely blowing out my right one. And
right.
That's not uncommon. That's quite a common occurrence to happen in both the sports world and just in real life.
Well, I think unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, the NFL's two of their biggest stars tore both their ACLs within a few hours of each other. And I think, if anybody in the chat wants to double check me, the NFL is actually launching an investigation into turf or something to see how after all these years, right? But it took Mahomes and Micah Parsons for them to figure it out, because Micah's was a non-contact, and then Mahomes, well, I think he was probably dealing with something. He had a D tackle kind of put a little bit of his weight on him while he was going out of bounds.
I think that was different than Micah. Micah Parsons he just freaking blew it out without any contact at all.
Yeah, I saw that.
And,
that was rough.
I thought Devontae Adams freaking blew his too. At one point, either that or a hamstring. But it sounds like it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think he's dealing with him. He's not playing tomorrow night. I think he's already. So they're pulling him out. Washington.
But it looked like him running down the field the way he did and just kind of freaking ate it.
Taino, my background, buddy. They need to put grass in there. This SoFi does not need to have this concrete bullshit turf. Excuse me. This surface is crap. It looks pretty on TV. It's concrete. And then MetLife, that's horrible. Whatever they got, that's a bad spot. But you're saying Washington. I think they're getting a new stadium, so they're probably just going to just rock and roll until that thing opens up. But I'm going to kick off with our game.
Raider Jaime has no freaking. He's like, laugh my ass off because of Mahomes. He's like, yep, I don't care. Love it.
I'm not wishing injuries, but Mahomes has been pretty damn lucky his 9 seasons, of his quarterback career. All I remember is him having a few ankle sprains or something, but he's been pretty lucky injury-wise. And, this is kind of like the why can't I say that word? Accumulation of their season, and then this happens to him. It's and
if he's going to do
it, the luck's ran out.
If he's going to do it, if it's going to happen, this is the season to do it.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
But another thing we'll get into this after about the Chiefs, because they are part of our division too. But this game had me nervous. Going into Kansas City against a desperate, perennial, this is their mini dynasty kind of thing. And I think last week's show, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be 40 degrees. It's going to be football weather. Well, that wasn't the case. I keep getting different temperatures that the game was at. I got 16 degrees, 8 degrees, 0 degrees with wind chill, and then 20 degrees. from everything I've seen from people there, from all this stuff, from what I hear, this was the third coldest game the Chargers have ever played in. And they're famous because I think it was the Bengals they played in back in the 70s or something. They played like a freezer bowl or something crazy, but this game was frigid. But look, this game also, watching this game go down, reminded me of an AFC game from like 10, 15 years ago. That's what this game gave me the vibes of. Final score, 16-13. And the way the game was going, that's what it was like. But, it's kind of like some caveat to that. Both offenses were dealing with banged up offensive lines. The Chargers have been dealing with this crap the whole season. And kind of these last few weeks or whatever, Mahomes was dealing with this. I think he had like 3 0 degrees. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. But Mahomes had 3 guys out going into this game. And I think right at the beginning of this game, one of their guys got hurt right away. But I'll get into stats a little bit. But Chiefs were up 13-3 with 28 seconds left in the half. So they came to play. They had a really good opening drive. Mahomes scrambled in and ran in a touchdown, almost damn near untouched. And then Justin comes in and throws a bomb to one of our rookie, Trey Harris. He catches it, gets kind of laid out. He's on the sideline, just kind of thing. And then on a 3rd and 3 with 5 seconds left, throws this laser, like the worst laser I've seen him throw. And it's kind of fitting that he throws a duck because he's an Oregon Duck. But he throws this ball that just goes like this, a duck, right? Anybody who's thrown a football before. And finds KLS, another one of our rookies who's been a healthy scratch, but is playing due to injuries, catches touchdown. And so, yeah, man, what's that? And then let's see. They go into the second half. So they score a touchdown right as the half, goes as it ends. Bolts tie it up in the third. It's 13-13. And then this is where the defense for the Chargers just turns it on. They just click it up a few notches. I don't know if they got some coffee or what they took in the locker room. They got warmed up. They turned it up and they started laying the wood. I mean, our safeties were – it was a bad day for anybody with the last name Rice or any of these wide receivers in Kansas City. Tony Jefferson laid the wood on Rice in the third to cause an incomplete pass. And then in the fourth, Mahomes throws a deep pass over the middle to Thornton, and Tony Jefferson lays the wood on him. And then there was like no flags. And then there was a late flag. And they called like unnecessary roughness or helmet to helmet or whatever. Thornton like dips down and Tony Jefferson's helmet hits his helmet. And then that was the end of it. But then there's a skirmishes breakout and the whole 9, and people are pushing and fighting. And I think the Chiefs were just getting upset that they were getting their asses kicked off, from the Chargers defense. And I'm not being cocky. That's just how it was going. And then New York calls in the game. I don't know, Ardell. I'll get into that later. New York calls in and ejects him from the game. So it was pretty crappy that the refs on the field didn't eject him. But New York was like, nah, let's get this guy out of the game for an unavoidable.
I publicly called that out, by the way. I thought that was a BS call in the first place. I thought that was a completely fair and above board hit from what I could tell. The guy on his way in lifted his head up, like physically lifted his head up to try to not go helmet in to the player there. And he led with his chest with a slight lean in of his shoulder, which is exactly what you're supposed to do as like a proper tackle in that situation. And at some point, football needs to be treated as a contact sport, and it needs to be remembered as such, and things cannot be perfect. And I just don't have. I literally had zero problems with that hit. And yes, the guy got hit in the head. Yes, it ended up happening. It's unfortunate. That's too bad. But I'm sorry. Crap happens. It's a contact sport. And frankly, if the offensive player was truly that concerned about his own personal safety, he wouldn't have dipped his head down as he was coming towards the other player.
That you make a great point about
so,
that. Of him bringing his head down.
Yeah. So my answer to all of that is the defensive dude did all of the right things, adjusting his head up, leading, kind of going like this. And at some point, credit needs to be given to the dude that's doing all of the things based on the absolute ridiculous rules that are there. And the offensive players actually have to be held accountable for their own personal safety. And if they choose not to, tough luck. Too bad you got hurt. Good luck in the hospital.
Richie, to me,
sorry, I guess I'm like too harsh for today's NFL.
No. I get it. I get it. But to me, the Chargers were, I mean, that was probably the third or fourth hit in just that half, or maybe the game. I don't know. This is early into the third quarter. And to me, it was like the refs or New York were like trying to send a message like, we're not liking this old school football, like tone it down a bit. And, you know, when they ejected Tony Jefferson, we were already down. We lost RJ Mickens, one of our rookies, to a shoulder injury earlier. So then we lost another safety. And I guess him leaving the stands, it's got to be a nerve-wracking thing for a player, right? You're walking by yourself, right? They're like, 23 is being injected, and you have to go, and it's all opposing fans, you know, at Arrowhead, and he's got his helmet off. And I think he pulled a Geno and just flipped off everybody or whatever. And he came out and apologized or whatever. I don't think he should apologize, because Christ knows what they were saying to him as he's walking by himself through the tunnel. It wasn't Chargers fans. They were all Arrowhead fans. But
did they get warnings?
Yeah, right. And then from Harbaugh's presser, they haven't heard anything from the league from him.
That's hilarious.
You know, I made a comment like during the game in one of my Charger chats. I was like, Justin should just pay for his fine, whatever his fine is, or ownership should pay for it, because the defense has been carrying this team for the last few weeks. So Justin's got plenty of money, $200 some odd million. Pay the dude's fine if he does get a fine. But he actually clapped back at some Chiefs fans on X, and he's like, wow, I'm rich. Like, I'm rich. I don't care. I'll pay the fine, whatever it is. But I'll get into something after get through the game. It was a very tight game. After that, on a 3rd and 12, Mahomes goes to the end zone and is picked off by our linebacker Henley. It was a great play by Henley. He read that perfectly. I think he was trying to throw.
It was a hell of a catch too.
Yeah,
it wasn't like right in his gut either. That dude laid out for it. He caught that football, and it was a hands caught football.
Yes, yeah. Henley gets his head around, and you know, he was a wide receiver. He was a safety. Now he's playing linebacker. So the dude he's an athlete, and it's good to see that he's playing some solid ball, especially in December. You know, Chargers fans remember he dealt with a sickness earlier in the season. I'm assuming it was mono, but somebody else said it was something else, like tonsils or something or other. And his brother also got killed. So it's been going through some crap this season.
That's three. That's three now. Dino, you're freaking on a roll, brother. How tight was it, DZ?
What was he saying? What was he referencing to?
How tight the ball was. How tight that throw was.
a good
So
throw.
how tight was it?
Mahomes got picked off. That's all I know. And then, so I mean, the bad part is the offense got the ball at the 1 yard line. Let's see, where did I leave off my notes? Bolts were up 16-3. Bolts don't reach field goal range. I'm like trying to read through my notes, guys. Chiefs marched down the field with around 5 minutes to work with. They had their best drive in the fourth quarter. And Mahomes was at the Chargers' 47-yard line with a 1st and 10 and is forced out of the pocket and trots to the sideline. This is where we get into his injury. Throwing the ball away. He just throws the ball away. Nobody was open downfield. And that's when he kind of like Tart, or no, it wasn't Tart, it was Deshaun Hand, D-tackle, one of my 10 or 15 favorite additions they made in the offseason, and kind of just lands on the back of him. Just I watched the play. He's like, he puts his hand on his hip, kind of puts some weight on him, and Mahomes just wasn't expecting it. And I don't know if that was his bad knee already, and then boom, goes down, man. Yeah. And then Minshew comes in. Minshew's making his mania, I guess, in Kansas City. And Minshew actually was doing pretty decent, man. You know, making good completions to Kelsey and whatever. And they get them down into field goal range. And I'm like, okay, well, Chiefs are going to tie this up. You know, they get past field goal range. Bucker's a good kicker. And on a 3rd and 7 with 32 seconds left in the fourth, the score is 16-13. And then they get a penalty, and it's a 2nd and 15. Throws to Kelsey and is picked off by, and I write, none other than Derwin James, because those guys have had history going against each other for ever since they've both been in the league together. And, you know, Kelsey, I'm not a huge fan of him off the field, but on the field, he's been a force to be reckoned with. We've all seen it throughout the years, right? And to think that might be the last time, like, my Chargers play a Chiefs team with Kelsey on it, it's kind of bittersweet. And but Kelsey also was kind of being petty and doing, when Tony Jefferson got ejected, there's film of him waving like goodbye, like see you later, like, because he got ejected, being a little B, I guess. And so I'm like, sooner he's out of the league, the better. Yeah. So like I said, I'm like, his stats, he's going to go down as being one of the best tight ends, but I won't miss him.
Hey, DZ, there's one dude that's in my chat all the time. His name's James Furpo, and I got to give him the respect he deserves.
Sure, rock and roll.
Raiders!
Fuck,
Sorry.
I couldn't hit mute fast enough.
Sorry.
But,
Sorry, what was that?
Got to give that to him. So he's the dog. He throws Raiders. I throw it back at him. So,
interesting stat in this game. Mahomes has never lost 3 games in a row. He just lost 3 games in a row. I don't remember the last time we swept the Chiefs. It's a great feeling. They're in shambles, in my opinion. You know, they've got Andy Reid there. They've got Clark Hunt, their owner. They've got Spags there for now. But they are an older team. They need to get their O-line fixed. They need a running game. I thought they kind of swung and missed at the trade deadline. I thought if they would have gotten a solid running back, that could have really helped that team out, but they didn't. I think they're $40 million over the cap going into next season as well, with like 14 free agents or something like that. So some tough waters for them to navigate, but, you know, seeing as they've been here before, we'll see. I think Mahomes was like 16 for 28, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. The Chargers held them to 0 points in the second half. They didn't score in the second half, which was
right.
a great thing. I can't give any more credit to the Chargers defense. They have stepped up big these last few weeks. The offense is dealing with issues. It's the offensive line, Justin Herbert's hand, defenses. We're not, and it's not going to get any easier. These opponents are just getting tougher and tougher, and it's getting closer and closer to playoffs. So everybody's just playing these games, as Tiano likes to say, tighter. But Chargers 5-0 in the division with one team left. Last game of the season against the Broncos. That will be interesting. It can get really spicy if Jacksonville gets a W against them. But I also want to shout out, other than my defense, I want to shout out our kicker, Cam Dicker. It's just amazing to have a kicker that you can trust and has got ice in his veins. Let me check this out. Just reading the private chat. But then also the guys that stepped up in this game were all rookies. Trey Harris, Oronde Gadsden, KLS, Omarion Hampton. Those are like the major contributors outside of some really good third down catches from Keenan. So it makes me feel good going into the future that you've got rookies that are stepping up in big games, division games, and getting wins. And right now the Chargers are just a gritty 10-4 team. To be honest with you, after the injuries that they have sustained in the key areas of the team, I did not expect them to be 10-4. And we'll see. It doesn't get any easier. Coming up this week, they've got the number one offense. I think Dallas is still the number one offense. But I mean, Jack, you're not wrong. Minter, he's one of those young up and coming guys. He's a DC though, so Navman made a good point. Like, if you're going to pair somebody with a young quarterback, like say the Raiders getting a new quarterback, would they much rather go with an OC over a DC kind of guy? So there's that. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him. I kind of said earlier, there's a guy, our secondaries coach, Klingstel, that I think would be a great guy to take over for Minter if Minter were to leave. So I'm not too worried. But yeah, man, it's going to get interesting. Honestly, didn't expect this, and it was a good game. And I'm happy the Chiefs are sad and in their feelings, and now all of a sudden the Chargers are the dirtiest team in the country. So there's that.
Well,
yeah,
this is actually I've actually said this a couple times on the podcast. One of the challenges that the Chiefs have right now is the league has done them no favors and has done Mahomes no favors. And this is why. What should have happened from the get-go, and this is what you want to have happen, by the way, is if a quarterback decides to run out of the pocket and run towards the sideline, you want him to get clocked. And that's a controversial take in today's NFL. But the reason why you want him to get clocked like that is that there's a cost for you as a quarterback to get out of the pocket, and there's a cost for you to try to get the extra yards if you're going to then try to turn around upfield.
They were treating it like a safe zone, Richie. It was, I get exactly what you're saying.
I agree. And my point is this. There is no guarantee that the quarterback is going to turn out of bounds. In fact, Mahomes has proven, if you go back and watch the film and the tape, that he intentionally runs because he's gaming the rules. Like there's no other way of looking at it. He's running towards the sideline and then immediately runs further up in bounds to get 2, 3, 4, 5 extra yards as he's running along the sidelines there. The cost of that sort of play should be that you are fair game and that you get to get knocked clear off your feet and 10 feet back into the stands as punishment for making that sort of play. And I don't just mean Mahomes specifically. I mean any quarterback. I don't care who you are. Bo Nix included, any other I don't care what quarterback. Just like send the dude flying to say, now think about doing that twice.
No, right? I agree 100%.
And then what you do is then what you do is you reset the playing field to say, you're a quarterback. You either want to run and run the risk of getting hit hard and maybe knocked out of a game or two, or you just stay in the pocket and you play the quarterback position with some maybe shimmy shake and some mobility and that sort of thing, and play the game.
I mean, the unfortunate part, like,
and Tom Brady's correct in my opinion. Today's quarterbacks have become too reliant on the soft rules of the NFL today, where they no longer actually need to play the game the way that those quarterbacks that we revere in the NFL needed to play. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, like these other guys that played to a pretty high level in the league, if we're going to be quite blunt and honest in terms of how they played the game. The guys that like were the latter portion of DZ, you and I are very similar in age. The latter part of kind of like the prime.
I mean, my boy Phillip Rivers made his return, bro. Like one of my favorite guys made his return.
Right.
He's from that era.
So you're literally making my point though. He's 44 years old. He is far from being a spring chicken. The dude's basically in a walker when it comes to the NFL, right? Like he's going out there with like a cane and a walker trying to get on the field in terms of
he's
like
giving
NFL
me some hope. I'm like, man, can I strap it up and play some semi-pro ball?
Right.
No.
Right, but the thing here is look at what Phillip Rivers showed is more important than all of the other things.
Yeah.
What Rivers showed us today or last Sunday was if you can read a defense, automatic, like just look on the field and just process and go. You have a good enough arm to throw down the field, et cetera, which Rivers still has. You can be quite successful.
Looks like we got some.
But Rivers comes from an era where he had. That's weird. Rivers came from an era where you had to read the defense. Rivers came from an era where you needed to know what was ahead of you on the field and you needed to do the right thing, just like Tom Brady, just like Peyton Manning, et cetera, et cetera. And Phillip Rivers plays with grit. He just plays with that, like, I will us to win if I have to.
I mean, he's either going to will you to win or he's going to throw an interception, huge. One of the two. And he threw an interception.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
It is what it is. He gets to play again next week. It's going to be fun to watch. But I also want to shout out my quarterback, man. Like, his stats aren't great, and the dude gets beat the hell down every week. And
I'm telling you what, I think Rivers is going to be a shot in the arm to the Colts on this run.
I think so too.
I firmly believe that.
Yep.
I hope so, to be honest with you.
Because now he has a whole week of preparation after getting hit a few times. And he even said it in his press conference. He goes, I kind of liked it.
Good point about the preparation.
But the point being is the dude actually said, I like feeling the contact again. You know what I mean? Actually was worried a little bit. He goes, I was a little concerned about how it would feel. He goes, but it felt right. You know? And I'll tell you what, that motherfucker threw a laser down. I'm telling you what, for that touchdown, he threw a laser. Me and my wife were watching that. I'm like, dang. that was a ball.
And 9 months from the night after that game, his wife will give birth to their 17th child.
No kidding. I'm sure he's employed by Santa Claus. I guess all his kids are probably elves, more than likely. You know, helping make toys or something.
I don't know.
I mean, crying out loud. That dude obviously has some freaking potency below the belt.
Yeah, seriously. Whatever he's on, a lot of people are.
I don't want any of that.
Yeah,
I don't want any of that
it's just funny. This is funny timing for him because high school football's over. His eldest son, who by the way is, I don't know if his oldest son was the quarterback at St. Michael.
No, it's his second eldest. I think he said was the quarterback for the state championship.
Yeah, so St. Michael's, they went for state championship. His second oldest, who looks like, I don't know where he'll go to college, but it'll be.
He looks just like Phil Rivers. So.
He does, but supposedly he's got a better arm, kind of throws similar.
He's mobile, and he's mobile.
Yeah, there you go. It was almost like Rivers was like, man, I'm bored of tripping over laundry, watching the grandkid. And then out of the blue, Shane calls him. Like, hey, he is chubby. He is definitely chubby. He's been having a few of the Colorado Kool-Aids or whatever.
I don't even know if that dude probably even drinks alcohol. I think he's just fucking eating every chance he has because the other 10 kids might take it from him, if he doesn't eat quickly.
If I remember correctly from the stories I've heard, he does drink, and he's a pretty good drinker from that.
That's awesome. I'd have a beer with him.
Yeah, I've heard stories where he was like, they would go play golf when they were in San Diego and just like hit the bar cart up and go ham on it. And but I'm sure it's also.
I would love to have a one-on-one. Have a beer with freaking Phil Rivers. I think that would be hilarious.
He is one of my favorite football players, and it's not because he was great. It's just the way how he talks at the podium. He's intelligent.
Derek Carr is the same way. Derek Carr, Phil Rivers.
They feel like
the same dudes.
Yeah, they feel like they're normal guys, right?
Yeah.
When I look at some of these other quarterbacks, and I'm not taking shots at people, but when I look at like Joe Burrow or like Tom Brady, I'm like
so bad.
Well, I look at them and I see their off-field stuff and the way they talk. I'm like, dude, we don't relate, bro. Like, I don't have anything in common with you other than the fact that we probably love football. But
people actually said something about Joe Burrow can come to the Raiders. I'm like, that'd be the day that I'm not a Raider fan after 54 years. This dude having a freaking goddamn meltdown and freaking being all freaking whiny like a little kid.
I lost a lot of respect for him, Nav. The kind of the way he was crying and stuff.
One thing I will say, if he's dealing with something mentally, as a veteran, if he's dealing with something mentally, he needs to handle that. Him and his family need to handle that crap because it can get bad. It can.
I feel like he's reaping what he sowed, like one of those things, because he asked for the organization. Look, you could blame ownership. I think it's rightful to blame the ownership in Cincinnati, but he asked for them to pay Higgins and Chase, right?
And he also got himself paid at the same time.
And then they finally paid Hendrickson, which I congratulate him. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but their defense,
no money left.
Yeah, they're toast, man. They are toast. Like so. Ooh.
And I'll tell you what, nobody can take on that contract in the NFL but one team. The Raiders. We have $115 million against the cap right now at this point. Second in the league. I think the Giants are the only other team that could actually take his contract on, and I don't want no part of it.
Yeah, if you guys have a top pick for a young guy, I don't see why you would.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. I mean,
nope.
Anyway, so aren't we going to the Broncos game now? Got way off track. My bad. If that was my fault, I apologize.
Useless Packers.
So, that may have been the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life.
It was bad.
Like as in, it was so bad. Like it was just like it was literally the thing that you would put on film to say, so you want to be a ref, don't do that. Like it was that bad.
It was bad.
So there were certain plays in that game, for example, that were like it was so bad. It actually was so bad that it actually got me thinking about the reffing situation again. And I'd like to reach out to Ref Guru at some point. He's a great guy. He and I have known each other for a number of years now. Maybe in the off season we'll kind of bring him back and kind of bring this up again. But I have firmly come off the train of wanting full-time refs in the NFL. He has thoroughly convinced me of that. But I was watching the Pat McAfee show the other day, and if you all remember when the NFL refs were on strike a number of years ago, and the replacement refs just didn't do that great of a job. And then the refs then came back and said, well, we'll come back, but only if you agree to this. And if you do, then we'll come back. Otherwise, good luck. And the NFL kind of said, okay, fine, we agree. Because they were under such, fire from the fans across the NFL.
So that was Sean
the problem
Hockley's
with that
crew?
Contract is that
Richie, I was trying to figure out who that crew. So
that
Sean
Hockley's crew. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. All right.
Which is crazy because that to me that crew is probably the one I would want on the field. So big game.
It was bad, but at the end of the day, what we need to start seeing as a result of this contract piece that the NFL is working with now with the league is when they came back after the strike and they agreed to basically whatever the refs put before them. In that contract, the refs have zero accountability, zero. And there's very little the NFL can do to remove or punish or kind of enforce progression from the refs. Now, what I'd like to see in the next contract, which by the way they're currently negotiating, is I'd like to see punitive or punishments of some kind for egregious, repetitive, bad play calls, etc. And I think this is actually quite important because the refs are often overlooked, and with betting coming into a big way in the NFL, you run the risk where there can be a conflict of interest, where you can have a ref thinking that they can alter certain over and unders or whatever the case may be if they know their cousin has that sort of thing, right? And so you can put refs in a certain position where they can kind of capitalize, and you can add in even financial incentives for certain things. And I think that the NFL needs to kind of really put forward a holistic and very complete thing before the NFL refs, because we can't have games like what we just saw with the Broncos on the weekend. I mean, there was a play where Riley Moss and a Green Bay Packer wide receiver were mutually hand fighting. At best, it was like a standard like a standard route.
So where he got the pass
Moss
interference?
got called for pass interference.
Yep.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was like the most normal play I've ever seen in the NFL. And the dude gets oh, you're Riley Moss, therefore you get a penalty. And then Evan Ingram trying to reach out to catch a ball, and the Packers dude is literally tugging back on his arm like it's like a game of tug of war, and the refs are like, "What penalty?" Like it's front and center in the middle of the screen on the broadcast, and it's just like, "Oh, it's going to be that kind of game." Like there's no other way of describing it. It was going to be one of those. Now, that being said, Nav, we spoke about a spectacular or incredible interception that Henley from the Chargers had against the Chiefs. I think we would be remiss if we did not talk about the Pat Surtain interception that he had against the Packers.
Oh boy, that's you got mossed. You got mossed. Yeah, you got mossed. You know what I mean?
Who was that against? Was that on Watson?
Yeah.
Notice Surtain intercepted over Watson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That right there was next level freaking oh my God. I mean, now granted, a linebacker stretching out and freaking picking a ball off is also equally freaking badass.
I mean, that is Surtain's job, but anytime.
I mean, but a linebacker stretching out and hand catching a freaking football, you got to put those kind of the same, because you don't expect a linebacker to freaking reach out and hand catch a ball like that. Now, Surtain, that's what he should do, because he's the best corner on the planet. So, but it doesn't. It's not downplaying how badass it was. I was like, damn, that dude is the guy. He's him, right? So, I mean, he's better than his dad, which is saying a lot.
I saw this.
A lot better than his dad.
I watched that and I was like, dude, Max gets bear hugged and we didn't see anything. We just want this game to end. Kind of
right. Well, I will tell you, DZ, one of the funniest things I saw was the week prior. So Max is up in freaking Justin's grill, and he's walking away, and Justin, out of character, flips Max some shit on the way off the play, and Max just gives him a little freaking nudge, and Justin flops like a bitch. I was like, that is the craziest freaking thing. And Max even said it on the rush. He goes, I never expected him to do that. I never expected him to just fall down like that. He goes, I played against him for years. And he goes, but he got me. He got me. And I was like, dude, he barely even touched him. Freaking, but Herbert freaking that.
Herbert, he channeled his inner soccer player or basketball player.
It was great. And Max even said
Max did not want him screaming in his fucking ear. He was like,
right.
He was like, we're not having this, man. Shut up.
Right.
I think he screamed, "Let's go" or something. I don't know what he said.
Or whatever. No, probably there was probably more than that. But we'll never know, ever, So, but he goes, I didn't expect Justin to just freaking flop on it. Because he goes, if you guys don't know, he's a big boy. And that little bump I give him is not near enough to take Justin Herbert down. But I found it hilarious.
It was.
Max was like, yep, I should know better. I shouldn't do it. And I think Max on his show said, I didn't expect Justin Herbert to do what Patrick Mahomes would do if I did the same thing to him. Yeah, I found that funnier than hell.
All these fans, Drake May's generational. Give me a break, dude. What does he play? This is like in his second season. You guys are already putting a freaking crown on this guy. Get him a few seasons before that.
Hey, Drake May got beat by the Raiders week 1. So
I have nothing against Drake May at all. I think he's a great guy. I think Vrabel is leading the odds of Coach of the Year, and you want to tell me that Drake's generational? All right, let's pump the brakes. I think he's going to be a great guy. And you know what? If you are a Patriots fan, shame on you guys because you guys didn't have to wait long to get another damn good quarterback after Brady. I mean,
well, and I'll tell you what, Joshua W8083. Not sure what the W8083 is, but I will tell you this: careful, because Josh Allen's freaking on one. He's on a freaking mission.
I like Drake May, so don't make me hate him, dude. He's got
to be careful. Josh Allen's could make you look stupid, going into these playoffs. I'm just saying, he already freaking has shown that you can get up 21 on him and it doesn't matter.
Jacksonville Jesus.
Be damn careful. Just saying.
So guys playing some good ball. Let's get back into your game, Richie. Sorry about that.
So
man.
So I want to jump back into kind of where the Broncos are at in that game. We saw actually a bit of a tale of two halves a little bit for the Broncos. The Broncos kind of slowed play the game a little bit overall. We did not look particularly good in the first portion of the game. We went, 3 and out or some variation thereof on the offensive side of the ball. Our play calls were too slow to get into the huddle, and we just weren't playing with a pace and kind of tact, etc. So overall, we could have done a lot better in the first portion of that game. However, I will go as far as saying this. Even when the Broncos were not playing particularly well, Bo Nix was. He really was. He was on it. So
this was like his top. This was like in his top 3 for the season.
Yes.
Game 1.
Yeah, and so what we saw from Bo Nix in this game was things that I was hoping we'd see progress-wise, like in terms of like his like natural progression as a leader on the team, and frankly his progress as a quarterback in the NFL. What you're able to see is the things that I've been saying for quite some time, actually, in our shows here, DZ, and you were a fan before you were a host, and I've said the same thing for most quarterbacks, which is his footwork has finally improved, where he's not like wonky and kind of going all over the place. And furthermore, the one thing that's even more important than that is he is not scrambling prematurely. He's actually meandering in the pocket, stepping up to make the throw. And that's where you saw some of these kind of laser beam style throws that were like incredibly effective, including a few touchdown passes there that were just absolutely just like laser beams.
He's giving his guys like an extra second or so to get open, and instead of him taking off, he's maturing.
He's getting into that. Yeah. And I agree 100%, like 100%. That's exactly what's happening there. And that sort of quarterback play or progression as a quarterback in terms of growth, like personal growth, is exactly what's required from a quarterback as a second-year quarterback in the league. And that sort of play plus mobility when needed, which we saw a few times in that game as well, really does lend itself well to making it, into the playoffs and who knows. And so that's an important piece there. On the flip side of that, I do think it's important here to note that the Broncos had a few low-key but kind of important injuries that is not in our favor in this game. We lost Brandon Jones to a torn pec. Immediate news from Broncos country is that it is slightly worse than Pat Surtain's. Pat Surtain missed 3 games or 4 weeks because we had a bye week in there. And they're thinking that Brandon Jones will miss at least that amount of time. And they're also talking about perhaps even having him needing to go for surgery. If he goes for surgery, he'll be out for the season. Now, to my Broncos team's defense, PJ Locke stepped in for Brandon Jones, and he's a starter on a good percentage of most defenses in the NFL with his progression. He did very well. Now, is he a guy that I want replacing Brandon Jones on the regular? Nope, not even a little bit. But good teams have developmental players that they have allowed to get to a certain, spot, and PJ Locke 100% fits that bill or is that guy. He's the dude that is like the 1B to the starter, but you're never knocking Brandon Jones out because he's playing at like an all-pro or a Pro Bowl caliber level, and so you're always going to be sitting behind a guy like that. My Broncos defense did in fact show out again against the Packers as well, although we did not look that great in the, say, 3/4 of the first half. He is I wasn't trying to rub it in, but yes, he is an undrafted free agent.
I don't want to hear that word anymore. I don't want to hear undrafted UDFA coming out of Richie's mouth anymore. It's getting just crazy.
It's getting old. It's old. Yeah. It's getting old.
Yeah.
Oh, another UDFA who is leading Pro Bowl loads.
Who's going to be a fucking all-pro? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just used the F word.
Yeah, but look, I mean, we've got a few of them, right? Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's not ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. The amount of UDFAs you guys have for the Pro Bowlers. Hey guys, my show is going to be on shortly, and I've got a whole list of stuff for the Chargers and the Broncos on my thoughts.
Just give us your score prediction since you got to go.
Well, I don't have to go immediately, but let's see. I have the Broncos at home winning against the Cowboys 27-20. I have the Chargers, against the
Jags, right?
Jags. 27-20, only because they're at home. Now, the thing about that is weather doesn't seem to be going to be an issue for the Jags. It'd be one thing if it's like 3 degrees in Colorado. That'd be different. But I have the Broncos at home 27-20 against the Jags. And that is a 10-4 team versus a 12-2 team. Let's be clear, though, that all of the Broncos wins, all of them, except for 2, have been one-score games.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and all their losses have also been one-score games. So, the Colts and the Chargers.
Taino, where are you for tight? I need that. So, we need another tight reference.
What's hard to believe for me is the Broncos started 1-2. That's what's crazy.
They just stumbled out of the gate a little bit.
Yeah, and
now we're on an insane
The Chargers started off 3-0,
and then just
so it's crazy. So, all right, my thing is with the Chargers.
Oh, we're doing score predictions. I went and got a road soda.
Well, I'm doing my show at 9:30 Eastern, so it's like
he's
11.
Just giving his score prediction, so we have it here on the show.
Gotcha.
So I got
salute.
Chargers notes. My biggest note is the Cowboys have nothing to gain. They really don't have anything to gain.
Don't tell their head coach that. He seems pretty
right.
Confident.
But Hampton being back full speed's a big for you.
He's getting better. He showed
him and Vidal
together
as a 1-2 punch. That's a big deal.
More of it.
Let's see. So you beat the Chiefs twice. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But your losses were the Giants, the Commanders, the Colts, and the Jags.
Dude,
and when you last lost to the Jags,
we got our ass
35-6.
Oh, they curb stomped us. That was just the Chargers.
Now luckily you're not playing the Jags.
No.
The Broncos are.
Yeah.
But let's see.
I was pissed to find out that the Broncos are playing at home against them too. I was like, "Oh, give me a break." I wish you guys had to go to Florida to play them. Something about Florida.
So I got Chargers 38-24. And then I got Chargers 38-24. Chargers win 38-24.
What's in those cigarettes? You got a little bit of salad in those cigarettes?
No, I got Chargers winning 38-24.
Dude, I'd be happy as hell, but I don't see the offense clicking that well right now.
But I mean, the Cowboys got nothing else to gain either. The reality of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then you have the Texans and the Broncos. So this Cowboys game is a must-win for you. It's a must-win. No question. Now, here's what's going to be crazy. Is the Texans against the Raiders. I don't even have to have notes for that. The Texans against the Raiders is going to be a lot closer than you thought. Because the Texans, if they're playing a lot of their starters right off the get in the first half, I'd be very surprised.
You think they start playing some backups?
Yeah. Raiders may first half be up 10-7. And then they just bust it all back out and then just shut it all down. And it ends up 24-17.
Wow.
Texans beat Raiders 24-17. I'm just throwing it out there. Just my thought process is like, why would you? Because you could probably beat the Raiders with your backup crew. The Texans in the AFC South are by far, in my opinion, all the way around the better team. The Jags are freaking show me, because it's I mean, Trevor Lawrence looked so bad for so long. I've really got a problem when he gets behind. When he gets behind, he tends to freaking make mistakes. And
who's your team, Clap? Come on. If our teams are trash, who's your team?
What?
I don't know. Just want to see these. We're all Fruit Loops. I want to.
You want my Super Bowl prediction? The two teams in the Super Bowl? Just while we're here.
Patriots. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me.
Look, my thing about the Patriots, I don't think they've had to travel outside of Eastern Standard Time all season.
Mm-hmm. No, that was the Bills. They only left Eastern Standard Time once, and that was Houston.
It wasn't the Patriots either?
No, the Patriots have, I think they played Richie. I'm pretty sure they came. Pretty much all of the AFC East did not move out of the Eastern Time Zone but a few times.
No, I do like. I really like Trevion, their running back. He looks super explosive for them.
Well, and then also have Stevenson too, which is their 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is that, but
we predicted him out of the draft, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have no issues with Drake May either. So if this guy, you want to troll, go ahead.
My big thing with the Chargers is they're getting healthier when everyone else is getting hurt. So I'm not predicting the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, but I'm predicting the Chargers to make a run.
And
so that's my prediction. Big part of it is Hampton and Vidal. Those two dudes are going to be hard to deal with. If you look at the Chargers, the wins. All right. Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Dolphins, Vikes, Titans, Steelers, Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs. Their losses, the Giants, that was freaking stupid. The Commanders played terrible. That was when I think probably when you lost Joe Alt.
And we also lost Hampton that game as well.
Yeah, and Hampton. And then the Colts.
They curb stomped us too. Something about the AFC South. They've got our number.
And then the Broncos, my thing is this. If the Broncos, from the weather prediction, it's going to be in the 50s, so it's not that big a deal. So if weather was a thing, I would take Broncos all day long, no question, easy, no question, right? But their wins are the Titans. Can't even read my own. Eagles, Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Raiders, Chiefs, Packers, Saints, and Commanders. There were only 4 of those games that were within freaking a one-score game. And their 2 losses, Colts 29-28 and Chargers 23-20. So it's one of those where it's kind of like, if you continue to do this going into the playoffs, winning and losing, the only losses and only wins you pretty much have are close, tight games. Are you going to be able to continue to do that in the playoffs is the only question I would have for the Broncos. I think the Broncos are fantastic, I think, all the way around. But I'm going to throw this last piece out here. I have the Broncos at home winning 27-20. But the average margin of victory all season long, 7.27. The last 4 weeks of the defense, they're in the bottom 1/4 of the league. Their defense is not what the Broncos have been all year long. I'm concerned with that. So I'm still saying they're going to win against the Jags because they're at home. And look, this is, I use Sharpies and big paper so I don't have to put my reading glasses on. So it's
smart, man.
It's just, look, man, I want one of y'all two to go to the freaking bowl. Got to represent the West, and thank you for having me, and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Jack, get better, man. He told me, he goes, "Hey, why are you in better shape than me? We're the same age." I'm like, dude, I've just been luckier than you. That's all. It ain't because I'm doing anything different. But Jack, love you no shit, man. Just get better. The holidays are coming up. All y'all, hey, happy holidays.
Yeah, man.
Love you.
Jack wants me to read his scores real quick.
Okay.
Jack's scores are, I guess we'll start with, he's got Denver 24, Jags 21. So he's got Denver taking this. He actually has the same score as me. He's got the Chargers beating the Cowgirls 26-21. And then he's got the Raiders 12, Texans 24. Those were Jack Kenna's predictions.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of the same thought process, reality of it. I mean, we have the same winners, just different scores.
He had my same exact score for Broncos Jags. I've got Broncos squeaking this out 24-21. I think the Jags are a really good team. I think they're a solid team, but like you said,
their defense is freaking underrated.
Yeah, they're underrated. I think they had at one point they were like top rushing defense, or not allowing the run. And but this Broncos defense is a different animal, so it's going to be a fun game to see how the Broncos defense does against this Jags offense.
Let's see.
And I agree with Money. I mean, the AFC is pretty wide
looks
open.
Looks like the Jags are 10th in total defense throughout the NFL.
That's not
7th
bad.
in points per drive. They're 7th points per drive, 7th success rate, 13th EPA per play, 7th pass rush win rate, 32nd, which is that's a game changer actually for Richie, because when Bo Nix actually has time, that's when he's gonna beat you. Their pass rush win rate needs to be better than that against them. So it's just one of those, you know.
Yeah. The other thing,
I mean,
the other thing there, Nav, is if you're just talking about your Broncos game there. If you're talking about the Broncos game there, the other thing the Broncos have done is given up the least amount of sacks, or at least one of the least amount of sacks in the league overall, generally speaking. Right. And so when you're talking about a team that doesn't, like, we're now late enough in the season where, like, you're not going to surprise anyone for the most part with like something wild and crazy.
You kind of know what you are, what everybody is.
Most teams generally sit at this point. Yeah, exactly. So if your pass rush for your team isn't typically getting home, and that's going to be a problem that you're going to have to address in the offseason and in free agency. And so then the piece then is, if you're going against an offensive line that has been, you know, quite effective at stopping the rush and all that sort of stuff, then you're probably in for a long game, right? Because you're not going to be throwing the guy off the mark. You're not going to be collapsing the pocket much because you're not really getting home to the quarterback, which means that guy's going to have a little bit more time to throw, and he's going to be able to pick you apart, sort of deal. And that goes for any team. I don't care if it's the Broncos or any other team. It just so happens that in this particular matchup, it is what it is. It is what it is.
I think it's going to be a closer game than people think, and I think the Raiders game is going to be closer than people think.
Maybe what I'll do real quick, Nav, because go ahead.
No, I just think it's going to be closer than people think, just because the Jags have realized they're not going to be able to get upfield, so they're going to have to protect down. Now they do a very good job of stopping the run. They're like 3rd in the NFL. So. But the thing about it is, it's one of those where it's going to be a few plays here and there.
Makes me not want to start RJ Harvey in fantasy.
But it's going to be one. But it's going to be one of those where it's going to be a few plays here and there. They're going to determine the game. But I firmly believe, because it's going to be at home in Denver, they're going to win that ball game. But it's not going to be some kind of ass whooping at all.
I think man. If I remember, I think the Jags on the road are not the same type of team as they are at home.
No.
No, they're not.
I'm going to just blast through my scores, Nav, while you're here, and I'll let you go to your show. I have Broncos 31, Jags 23.
Okay.
I think the Broncos will win. I think the Broncos will win this game. I think the Broncos' key defensive players in recent games. I think Riley Moss, despite the fact that the refs have labeled him a dirty player, if you actually look objectively, I'm not just saying like I'm a Broncos fan, so therefore I love all the Broncos players. In fact, my historical comments would say otherwise, which is, I think if you actually objectively look at Riley Moss and his play, the first, I want to say 8 or 9 weeks of Riley Moss's play, he really did make some bad choices in terms of how he played the cornerback position, despite the fact that he was winning his matchups by and large. What we've seen from Riley Moss in the last few games here is he has played far and still won his matchups. In fact, even played better than he has in weeks past. So I think this is showing growth from Riley Moss. And frankly, if you get Pat Surtain and Riley Moss on either side of the ball, and you got Riley Moss stepping up and playing at, a pretty impressive rate. That's pretty awesome for the Broncos defense.
I agree.
With regards to the Chargers and Dallas. Yeah. With regards to the Chargers and Dallas game, I have that as the Chargers losing 27-24. I think that there's going to be I just think that Dallas is got a different sort of defense out there now. And by the way, that score could be inverted if the running game for the Chargers is able to be successful. But I think that's the key. Is I think Dallas has brought in two key pieces on the interior of their defensive line.
Frank Clark, Quentin
that
Williams.
have really made a massive difference in terms of how their defense has looked.
One of them in concussion protocol right now,
exactly.
so Richie.
Yeah, well,
so if Quentin Williams doesn't play, yeah. But look, like you were saying,
well, if Quentin Williams doesn't play, then I would then have you guys winning something like 31-24, because he is a difference maker across the board, not only from a pass rush perspective, but also from a run stuffing perspective. And he is a difference maker on the defensive side of the ball. And that's indisputable. Like, he has joined the Dallas Cowboys defense, and they do not look like the same team.
No, they've improved quite a bit.
They just don't.
With the addition. No, you're right. But they've improved quite a bit with the additions of Frank Clark and Quentin Williams. And who else they had? Logan Wilson, the linebacker. I don't know. This was my game where I'm like hoping that the pass offense can kind of get going. But we'll see, because it's been kind of quiet. Hasn't really been some explosive plays passing wise, or more, I would say, consistent. But if they want to just lean on the run and let Hampton, if it all works, I'm fine with it.
So, DZ, what's your scores?
I've got the same as Jack Kenna. I got Broncos taking this by 3 against the Jags. Now I can see this flip flop either way. I mean, I've got some respect for the Jags. I hate saying it because they've got my team's number for some reason. Jacksonville Jesus, he's in Liam Cohen. They got something working right now. And if there's no bad weather, yeah. But Broncos, like you, I'm kind of with you, Nav. Broncos being at home, I give them that little edge. And then Texans, Raiders.
I think the Texans are gonna sit a lot of their folks that got nicks and injuries, little stuff, just to see how the game goes until they need to turn it on and win the ball.
I don't think Stroud's really all that good, to be honest with you. Like, I think his
offensive line's amazing.
Right. I mean, it's been horrible. Yeah. I think it's literally the second worst to the Chargers. And I don't know if you guys have X accounts. You guys need to follow. There's an account. What's his name? Computer Cowboy. He puts in all these different PFF, ESPN, all these other different ratings, and he does it every week. And Chargers still ranked 32nd, which being 10-4 is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, and the Raiders are 31st.
Yeah,
on Spotrac. Yep. Chargers are 32nd.
Yep,
unbelievable.
It's pathetic, but I don't know. I still got the Texans going. I got them 24, Raiders 10.
Yep.
If they that defense, they scare the bejesus out of me. We're playing them after the Cowboys, and I'm not looking forward to that.
Not game. Good.
No,
it is not good that you're going to have to play them.
And then
you're running. That's why I said how important Vidal and Hampton are going to be going forward.
Last year when we played them in the playoffs, we got smoked, but we only had Austin Eckler, if I remember. So this will be different.
I think running game is going to be important to the Chargers throughout as we go. Because J.K. Dobbins, as much as I've been following him, doesn't look like he's going to be. Doesn't look like the Broncos are going to get him back at all this season. As I've been following, it's like, yep, he's just not quite there. He's not in the facility. He's not practicing, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure you can see J.K. in the playoffs. I don't know. That's going to be a huge difference maker for the Broncos if that happens. I mean, because that dude freaking absolutely destroying people. You know, and then so he got hurt.
And I'm gonna go with my game. I've got the score. I got my Chargers winning, and I don't usually like pick them like that. But you know, I think Nav said it. It's like they're not really playing for much. I think they have a 1% chance to make the playoffs. It's literally just a 1%, right, or whatever.
Well, they have to win out, and the Eagles have to lose the rest of their games.
Yeah, and I think they need the Commanders or something to win twice, something like that.
It's a ridiculous math.
The defense, the Chargers' defense is on a heater, and defense travels, and then I hate my offensive coordinator, but whatever. I think this is where Quentin Johnston didn't play last week. He's on track to play this week. So I got the Chargers winning 27-24, but I can see this game going even higher into the 30s. But yeah, that being said, it should be a good game. Cowboys. I mean, Harbaugh mentioned the Cowboys like multiple times in his presser. I think they've got his full attention of just how good their offense is. I mean, you got Pickens, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Ferguson, and Javonte Williams. You know, to the chagrin of Richie over there, he's a couple years removed from that injury, and he's looked a hell of a lot better. So the else they have that I really like, but he plays primarily special teams is Turpin. God, that guy's freaking electric on kick returns. So
everybody talks about the Dallas like resurgence being Quentin Williams, but to be honest with you, the running game got better with Javonte, right? So it's like, so there was two pieces, in my opinion, that made a big difference with Dallas.
Javonte was there. Javonte was there before, and he was a big reason why their offense had a bit of a resurgence, right? Because, look, he was not working out in Denver, and it's just proof that a dude can go to a different team with a different offensive scheme,
right,
and kind of like revitalize his career potentially, and that's totally fair and above board in terms of options and everything like that. However, the Cowboys were struggling to try to win games this season because they couldn't stop anybody on defense because the entire middle portion of the field was being absolutely eaten alive by opponents' offenses, and they were just getting slaughtered. Well, now you bring in two dudes that are
right. Hey guys,
and then they brought in basically two pieces to fix it.
Thanks, I gotta go, guys.
See you, buddy.
Hey, I'm getting like beat up on Instagram. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Hey, you guys are more than welcome to switch over when you guys are done. We can, pop you on. We can talk a little bit further. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Jack, just get better, brother. Just get better. I'll be here for you whenever you need me. Okay. Love you guys. Take care. Off I go.
So
basically what I was saying there, just real quick, DZ on that piece, I'll just quickly finish because he had to go. But basically, long and the short of it is the Cowboys were actually one of the top offenses in the league, even when they were losing games. Like, it was crazy that they were losing games, putting up like 25, 26 points kind of thing. They were just getting beat 31-27 or like, you know what I mean? Like, their defense was just giving up too many points on the other side of the ball.
They were like Cincinnati,
which was obviously had to be quite frustrating for them as a team. Exactly, 100%, exactly like Cincinnati. And then Jerry Jones made a comment in about mid-season, just before the trade deadline, about bringing in an interior defensive lineman to really turn the team around. And he got really raked over the coals in the media for making that comment, because the league, or sorry, the analysts, not even the fanalists, just the analysts, were like, Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones again, and blah 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 blah, and this, that, and the other. But if you actually look at what's transpired as a result of doing exactly what Jerry Jones suggested, which was bring in some interior defensive linemen, and man, did they ever swing for the fences on the guys that they brought in.
Well, and not
It
only
has
what you're
made
saying
a
with those
tremendous
guys,
difference for the team.
Richie, those two additions also boosted the guys around them as well, who they've already had.
Well,
and you saw some of their
we've
edge
said this
guys
again on
come
the
to
show
life.
before.
Yeah.
But we've said this on the show before, right? Which is, in today's NFL, the interior defensive linemen are almost the most critical cog on most defenses in the way that the league is running right now, because you need to be able to stop the run outright and get the same guys that stop the run being able to get home to the quarterback from time to time. So you have to do the run and get to the quarterback. And Quinnen Williams is actually a perfect example of that guy.
I mean, he's a special person. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
he
That's
is.
why
Yeah.
he's in concussion protocol, and he didn't practice today. But I was listening to their head coach's presser, and he's like, Quinnen's doing well. He's doing good. So I'm like, oh crap. But he didn't practice, so obviously he's still going through protocol.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if this was his first concussion, he might be back for the game Sunday, or he might miss it, since he might make a business decision and sit out. But it's going to be an interesting game. They're much improved. I'm totally in agreement with you. And Jerry Jones is looking like the Sith Lord, in my opinion, because look at what happened to Micah Parsons, and you know what I mean. And who's to say Micah Parsons is going to be the same next season?
I agree, actually. I agree.
Like this is.
Well, he might not actually be the same. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Look at these two-star teams. Okay.
In fact, Mike. Well, Eagles fly. Well, so we'll see about that. But the point here is that Micah Parsons may not ever be the same player he ever was again after this type of injury. It is entirely possible. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm simply saying is that when you hurt that, like when you cause that sort of damage when it comes to an ACL or anything like that, and you are a player that is reliant on the speed, get off, and agility that you have in terms of making those plays, I'm not saying, again, reiterate, I'm not saying I want this to be true, but it is actually possible that he will never be the same player again, because I did see that happen with Von Miller after he suffered his second ACL injury, and he had two at least with the Broncos. He was not the same player again after the second one.
He's just a name now, and I hate
and he's a great example.
So I want to answer
Money Chuck. He's a great example of a guy that was elite.
Money Chuck, I don't think Genty is overrated. He was drafted really high, and it was going in a new scenario with the Raiders. But look, let's face it, that O-line and the play calling and the nepotism in the Raiders has probably failed Genty. Get him behind a better O-line, more pass catchers, and probably a better quarterback in OC. Like, I think this year was his redshirt year. So call it a wash. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm not calling him anything. But, out of the first round or second round running backs, he's definitely not been the best because he's not been in the best situation. It takes two to tango. This is a team sport after all. Like Henderson for the Patriots, Judkins, some of these guys, Hampton, even though Hampton missed a bunch, have looked better because they've been put in better situations. So just see what Genty looks like next season.
I kind of agree. The biggest challenge for Genty is twofold. The offensive line was not coached up particularly well. Actually, I'm going to say three things. One, offensive line was not coached up particularly well. Number two, they they really haven't owned or stayed consistent to a scheme that fits their players well, and or put the right personnel in the right place in order to fit the scheme that they are running. And then three is they need more talent on that offensive line, particularly in the middle of the offensive line, in order to keep the pocket clean and open holes for the running back. Even one as good as Genty, and I've been on record, and I will actually maintain my stance that um, a running back is really only as good as the offensive line that's in front of him. And even a great running back, and I think Genty is a great running back, will struggle behind a poor offensive line no matter what.
I mean, you can look at the Chargers. Like, right, we have Vidal and Hampton right now. They're only succeeding by running to the outside, and that should just tell you it's not a good running back, not a good offensive line. But dude, fly eagle fly. Adrian Peterson was like a special breed of human. Like, they don't make them like they used to. So
Yes.
some of these guys are just have Wolverine blood. You know what I mean? Just he was special. But we'll see about Micah. I mean, it's about hunger. It's about rehabbing, and we kind of talked about it earlier with these quarterbacks. And what who was I talking about? RG3 talking about. I think it's great, man. I mean, look, the Colts are desperate, right? But this also just shows you guys as fans how crappy quarterback development is in the NFL. The NFL and college have huge issues with quarterback development, and so bad that they had to call a 44-year-old off his effing couch to come in and try to save their season. Yeah, man. So
exactly. On this note, DZ, the comment here from Fly Eagles Fly, just my 2 cents on this is
rock and roll.
Adrian Peterson, when he was in high school, he had his age questioned because he looked too old and too muscular for his age when he was coming out of high school before he even hit college. And there's a story that's been documented, you can look it up, where the opposing coach demanded his birth certificate be produced to prove that he was the correct age to play on a high school football pitch. Now, let that sink in. So you're talking a dude that had so much testosterone flowing through his veins that he looked like a grown man when he was in high school. That's a problem. And that's why he was also able to recover so quickly from the ACL injury, because he's had that kind of healing power, if you will, as a result, since high school and obviously all the way into being younger in the NFL. He was able to heal quite quickly.
Yeah.
So
we had a guy
not a fair like comparison.
That. We had a guy in
but
high
not
school
a fair
like
comparison is my point.
No. But we had a guy in high school like that. He was a track star, played football, was a running back as well, but had this similar, way too muscular, looked way older than he should be. But I don't remember hearing. I was a freshman, he was a senior, and then I remember hearing a story that he went to Arizona State, and the rumors were that he messed around with the coach's daughter, and that's the last that we ever heard about it. And then, but he was a great athlete, man. Like, ran a 4.2, like a 4.2 something in track. It was impressive. But yeah, Adrian Peterson, stud. We'll see about Micah. We'll see about Mahomes. I think Mahomes is special too. But I do think that I do think that RG3 and some of these other people's comments have merit. Like, be careful about coming back next season. And, what are the expectations for Chiefs fans or the Chiefs? Who knows? But
I agree.
It's gonna be an interesting week, man. I'm really excited for your guys' game.
I agree.
Ricky.
Yeah.
That Jags. Look, you guys handled the Packers. I thought the Packers were going to get you. That didn't happen. I got you guys taking the Jags down. We'll see. This is probably your last toughest match of the season because the Chargers are 5-0 in the division, but you guys can still win the division if I'm not mistaken. If my math ain't mathing, you guys could still like win it by record or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, where the Broncos are sitting at right now is because we've beaten the other divisional opponents that were. There's a whole like point differential and some other things that all come into play and stuff as well, and records. So, the end of the day, the Broncos are on. Our destiny is in our hands at this point.
Yeah.
Like we are the number 1 seed in the AFC unless we mess up. So
SoCal
that's
says
basically
Denver.
what it comes down to.
That's crazy. Like, so this is what I'm like. You guys can win against the Jags, right? And then I don't know who you guys play after the Jags. Do you know off the top of your head?
Chiefs is on Christmas Day, so it goes Jags, Chiefs, and then I think the Chargers are the last game of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys could take care. This is probably your. I'm not going to say the Chiefs aren't going to be tough, but it's not going to be the same Chiefs. And then you guys could essentially almost rest your starters week 18. And the Chargers could very well be undefeated in the division, but not win the West, which is pretty wild to me. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, there's the potential, but there's the legit possibility that the Denver Broncos end up going like 14-3, which I never predicted coming into the season. I thought we were going to be kind of, hovering around the same record we were last year, which still had us being a very competitive team. Like we were in the playoffs in that stage there. But the Broncos have surprised me this year where we have been very gritty in these games where we were close and we were not very gritty the previous year. And it really has set us apart. It just is what it is. And that's a testament to coaching. We've made comments like of the Chargers and Broncos coaching. It is that important to have quality coaches on your team to be the difference. And you talk about Staley, for example, where like close games you were like an automatic L, right? Like he just didn't inspire the team to do anything or have a game plan to kind of adjust to things. Whereas Harbaugh, you're like, we're always in it. Like for sure, we are always in it, and that's a coaching thing. So.
I mean, they were down.
I did want to quickly. Sorry, just real quick.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to quickly throw out my my Raiders score just because I didn't get it in. I don't want to have it get lost. I have the Raiders losing to the Texans 42-13.
I see why you said this now after Nav is gone.
Well, I tried to say it when Nav was here, but he kind of jumped in to try to say I gotta go. But it is what it is. The other thing is that the Broncos, in every week from this point forward in the season, with the right set of circumstances, if I'm not mistaken, have the ability to lock in the number 1 seed in the playoffs, depending on how circumstances fall.
I can see SoCal. I can see Peyton doing whatever he can to get a win, because I don't think he wants to go saying that, Bo or somebody's 0-4 against the Chargers or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I could see them trying to stick it to LA, but does that kick us out of the playoffs? I don't know. Who knows? I doubt it. I mean, I'm looking at the guys who are in the hunt. who's maybe. I mean, look, it's Pittsburgh's in the hunt now, right? Because Baltimore overtook them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just I'm more pleasantly surprised than anything with my team, but
Yep.
as for the Broncos, you guys look like a force to be reckoned with. I will admit it. And if Bo keeps playing the way he does when he needs to do that, they're going to make a deep run this year, especially with how wide open the AFC is. I was saying this. I was looking at it. I guess the Jags O-line is ranked pretty decent, but out of all the AFC teams, the Broncos are set up for this January football. And, man, getting home field as well, that's going to be one scary thought for anybody having to go in a Mile High and try to take them down. Yep, it's going to be fun.
I think just a couple. Yeah, just real quick on that point. I also don't think the Jags have played a defense that has like the variance and the kind of the roster depth that the Broncos defensive line has as it pertains to getting to the passer. It like the Broncos are still on pace for
they played the
perhaps
Texans,
overtaking the 85 Bears.
I mean, you're talking about overall, sure. I mean, I still look. I think you guys are 1B to 1A on like edges wise, right? Like I got Broncos and I got Texans, kind of like how they get after quarterbacks. Personally, why the Texans scare me more? Maybe it's because they beat our butts in the playoffs, and we've seemed to be able to withstand you guys for whatever reason. I have no clue. I don't think it's going to happen in Week 18 unless you guys rest your guys. But you could be onto something, because if you keep that rotation of dudes that they have, we know you guys are deep defense from first, second to third. Yeah, but we have seen your defense. I mean, look, your defense let the Packers score all those points, right? There's that too. And
yeah, well, there's a few issues in that game though, where like as an example, there's like a penalty that was called that basically allowed the Packers to then score a touchdown on the next play, which was only allowed as a touchdown because there was a hold on the same play that wasn't called. So it was like the Broncos got called for a defensive penalty, which was not a penalty. And after that, we then had the run go in for the touchdown. So there's a whole host of issues here in terms of what was happening in the refereeing in that game. And I don't like blaming the refs for certain things. I mean, at the end of the day, the Broncos did win. So, like, it is what it is. But,
sure,
like, there was so many egregious penalties or non-penalties. I mean, I haven't even spoken on the podcast. We had a touchdown called back against us because they blew the whistle dead when a dude hadn't actually been brought down and he scored a touchdown. Troy Franklin, when you look at the play where he ran into the end zone, he was never brought down by contact. Yeah, that was brutal. Like, the NFL refs have to stop. They have to stop it. And to make matters worse, sorry, just real quick on the same note, to make matters worse, we were seeing plays in the reverse side of things where the refs were allowing offensive offsides and other things like that from the Packers to play out and not blowing the play dead, et cetera, to see what was going to happen. That makes no sense to me.
There was a lot of goofy play calls. There was goofy play calls in the Chargers-Chiefs games as well, like neutral zone infractions and just not blowing plays. There's been a lot of weird officiating this season, and it looks like it's almost like the playoff. I don't know. It's almost like these refs are making stuff up as they go, or just calling it the way they want to call it. It's kind of weird, but I mean, that's why you just gotta, like, luckily for your team, you just gotta not leave it up to the refs, right? But
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, we've kind of covered score predictions. We've gone over the games and all that kind of stuff, and I think we kind of leave the show there for tonight. I think it's
yeah,
been
man.
an interesting one. I do want to thank Nabman for jumping on in place of Jack. I think that was great.
Wait,
and we'll go ahead.
Can we say who do the Chiefs play this week? By any chance? I don't know who they actually play.
Oh, they have a good opponent. I had them losing. Tennessee. No, are they the Titans? Never mind. Wrong week. They're playing the Titans.
Oh wow, Minshew going against the Titans. Okay. Yeah, I think the Chiefs take this one.
I'd love to think that they will, but just something tells me that the Titans. I think the Titans are going to try to bring their A game, and I'm not sure if the Chiefs are feeling it.
You might be
I'm
right.
gonna.
They're probably.
I'm gonna call.
depressed.
Yeah, I'm gonna call a hot take on this, and I think the Titans beat the Chiefs, and I think that's gonna, man, like you think the Chiefs fan base right now is spiraling. Wait till they lose to a 2-12 Titans team. Obviously, like it's not funny to like laugh at an injury because that's not what I'm doing. And frankly, I feel really bad for Mahomes. Like you never want to see a guy go down with an injury like that. Like that's just awful. But I do think that there's a certain like downward spiral in terms of like momentum is a thing. The ability to think that you can win is a thing. And right now, I think the Chiefs are kind of on that nosedive pattern right now. And I think the Titans are saying, this is the Chiefs. This is our
They're going to give them their best
Bowl
shot.
Yeah, 100%. And I just think that as a result of that, I think you're going to have the Chiefs in a bit of a slump, and the Titans saying, "I refuse to lose." And I think it might end up kind of weird where you end up seeing the Titans beat the Chiefs, if but nothing else, just because they want to say they beat the Chiefs. So
you're probably right. You're probably
I think it's certainly a possibility. Yeah. So it is what it is. But I mean, I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be one of those like walk-off field goal, one of those types of games where the Titans will kind of have that like, look what we did kind of moments. Or maybe like a win by 4 or something like that. It'll be a close game either way. I think it'll be a very tight game at the end of the day. So that'll do it for the show. Thank everyone for joining tonight. The Wild Wild West has been a great show. If you would like to see more folks in the chat and leave more comments just like you, go ahead and leave a like on the video. That is a free and easy way to support the show and the channel. If you have questions you think we didn't cover on the show, leave those comments down below. We'll do our best to circle back after the show and answer those for you. And if you'd like to reach out to either one of us after the show and just ask us questions about the team and other things like that, or just see how we're doing, X handles, I'm still trying to get over the whole Twitter thing. X handles are down below here at Richie Rich A and at DZ Wilson 57. Happy to answer your questions and go from there. But ladies and gentlemen, until next time, where the West Side's the best side. Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute, work hard.